Do you get sleepy after meals? Over the past few weeks, I've been getting so annoyed with how I get so sleepy after meals. This has been a common theme over my lifetime so far. As of the last few years, I've actually been masking it with caffeine. What sucks is that caffeine has actually stopped working for me. Not only does it not work, it actually makes me even more sleepy. This is a problem for another article. Being sleepy after meals can have many causes such as poor sleep, poor diet, blood sugar issues, mineral or vitamin deficiencies, or hormonal imbalances. Believe it or not, all of the above causes can be connected to one another, making it hard to identify a root cause. In my case, I was most interested with the diet component, i.e., the impact of my diet on blood sugar. So out of my curiosity, I dusted off the old glucose meter and my stash of over 50 glucose strips to begin investigating. Here's what I found. Everything looks fine until... Here's a graph of my blood sugar through one day. When I woke up, things looked great. 4.4 millimolar for a fasting blood glucose is considered very healthy. Then sometime around noon, my blood sugar spiked. I suspect that this was a false reading because I haven't seen a number like this before. I just assumed that my blood sugar was high, but not quite that high. I had just finished my second meal of the day. The most interesting part comes near the end. After my blood sugar stabilized and I stopped eating, my blood sugar dropped to crazy lows. It made sense since I was very sleepy. Not just sleepy, but also incapable of focusing or making decisions. Although my blood sugar eventually rebounded, something was going on. Suspected problems. My initial thought was, if my blood sugar is dropping too fast, then blood sugar must be getting disposed of quickly. Insulin was likely the culprit. A high insulin would cause a low blood sugar and could be a sign of prediabetes. Note, insulin is a hormone that opens cells up to take in extra glucose and therefore brings blood levels down to healthy ranges. Prediabetes is a condition in which blood sugar starts to rise because of a higher than normal tolerance to insulin in cells. People with this condition require a higher amount of insulin to cause cells to open the same way. This higher tolerance means that more insulin is required. Somewhere on the way towards that, low blood sugar could become the issue. Since more insulin is required in this state, more insulin is left over in the blood even after most of the glucose has been absorbed by the cells. As the problem continues to progress, the pancreas gets to a point where it can no longer produce the levels of insulin required to satisfy the high tolerance. Blood sugar then starts to do the opposite of what it did before and climbs. This is when it becomes prediabetes. I suspect that part of the problem I ran into was because of the counter hormone glucagon, which was supposed to help to protect from this low blood sugar. As a result of a low blood sugar, glucagon should have allowed stored sugar, glycogen, to come out of the cells. This could indicate an adrenal, aka the hormonal gland above the kidneys, problem, since the adrenals regulate the hormones which create the domino effect release of glucagon. The problem could also be that the presence of insulin doesn't allow for glucagon to come out. Potential issue. So at this point, I was left with two possibilities that I could conceive of. Either my insulin was too high, which didn't allow glucagon to be released, or insulin was not the issue, but it was instead something related to the release of glucagon alone. After doing some research, I came across a condition called reactive hypoglycemia, which is a condition where post-meal blood sugar drops very low and takes 2 to 3 hours to recover. The cause is hard to identify, but can come back to any of the above causes that I listed. My action plan. Being sleepy after meals is not normal, and having a volatile blood sugar throughout the day also isn't. As a result of seeing this, I came up with an action plan. This plan was done sequentially in the following order. 1. Improvements to my sleep. This included sleeping in to accomplish at least 8 hours of sleep. This had an immediate impact on making my blood sugar less volatile. 2. Supplementation. This included magnesium to help with relaxation before sleep, and Synsulin, a supplement which includes chromium, iodine, and cinnamon for insulin regulation. This helped to regulate my hunger, sugar cravings, and improve my blood sugar stability even more. 3. Low-carb diet. I transitioned to a lower carb diet, which has had the largest impact. Although the previous changes made me less sleepy after eating, this step increased my energy altogether. Like I had said earlier, all of these causes of sleepiness are linked with one another and could be feeding each other. There's nothing more fulfilling than making a small tweak that impacts multiple aspects of my performance. When it comes to this particular issue, it requires discipline, and part of me is glad that I'm forced to have to pay attention. At the end of the day, taking care of this issue means that I've developed some healthy habits. I know that if I stop feeling sleepy after meals, I'll be improving my overall performance and longevity. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this article, you can find more like it at www.banafit.com. That's www.banafit.com.